clean this up first.
Sí. Pero,
Ooh, that could have been bad.
but it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
That was so unnecessary.
It was.
Welcome to another manera.
No one gets away with anything.
Today with you we are.
Jose Rafael Ochoa
And I didn't have a place.
very nice to see you today.
Very nice to see you too. As usual, Jose and I have been together for around 2 hours and a half by this point. But it's good. It's part of the routine. That's the quality of the content.
Yeah, we've been together for a while and we decided to record a sort of different episode. We're trying out a couple of new things, but the main thing is Ariana came in, right?
Yeah.
And she was a bit, drowsy with life. Tipo, ese momento cuando dices, tipo, marico se me dañó la nevera.
Yeah, exactly. I just arrived and I just talked to Jose and stuff. And literally the first thing I said was like, you know how when you feel good, you attract positive things, and when you feel bad, you attract negative things? And I told him, like, I went to my house before coming here just to drop off some things. I opened my fridge, it smells like shit, and I'm like, this is really the last thing I needed. And for me, it was like the universe is telling me, bro, chill out. You have to stop feeling so overwhelmed and appreciate the beautiful things in your life. And then I came here, I told him
appreciate that beautiful smell of dirty fridge, yes.
Exactly. And you know how I think this is the second time it happens to me. Because my fridge has a thing and I apparently haven't learned how to deal with it properly. But in order to take away the smell, if you put coffee, like coffee powder or green coffee.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it takes away the smell. Very useful.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Well, they do that. I was in Germany, and one of the things they do is that they have a lot of bees because they believe in the environment,
Mm-hmm.
and they don't kill bees. But they are like you go to any coffee shop in the summer, and you will have a couple of bee friends with you, just eating with you. It's kind of distressing, and so they grab a cup of like this size, full of coffee grain, like ground coffee, and they burn it. And the smoke doesn't smell bad, and all the bees go away. And it's kind of not bad for the environment.
Very interesting.
Yeah, but so she came in very, very much.
Very powerfully.
Very powerfully. You could see an aura, like a little cloud on top of her. And I said, like, I don't know, future housewife of Venezuela. I literally said, like, you need wine. Right now.
He was like, what if we just don't record today? Let's just like chill for a bit, watch the episode, and I was like, no. I came here for this shit.
Yeah. Like something has to go right today.
So here we are. But that's why we took so long to record today.
Yeah. We drank a little bit of wine, and we talked a little bit about the podcast, and now we were talking about something that my mom talks to me about every day, if she can. And that is...
the law of attraction.
The law of attraction. No, we're not talking about how couples like each other. No, we're not talking about magnets.
But not only that.
But maybe we're talking about all of it at the same time.
Exactly.
Well, that's very profound.
Yeah. An interesting fact about this episode is that last week we released our first episode.
Yes.
So now today, what we were talking about was, okay, what's the feedback we received? What did we feel? And what can we do better, right? So it was very also a productive evening, even though we did not necessarily record.
That's why we have no computers here. Now it's just you, her, and me.
Exactly.
What? That was weird.
You
know what I mean? Sorry.
So yeah, today we're going to talk about the law of attraction and in which ways do we feel like it's part of our lives. But it's not only about what Jose just said or about feelings or about thoughts. It's more of a comprehensive understanding of the concept of it, and we're gonna try to desengranarlo.
Okay. See, we're gonna try to, decompose it little by little. I'm gonna start with a question. How many of you have seen a series where there's a weird energy that surrounds everything that has influence on everybody? So can you name?
For example?
Star Wars.
I was gonna say Stranger Things.
Stranger Things. Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Mm-hmm.
Or
There's a new Avatar coming out soon.
yeah, Avatar Studios.
But when is it coming out? My boyfriend's been super excited about it.
Oh my god, you and your boyfriend and I need to talk about Avatar. The thing is, there's gonna be a live action Avatar done by Netflix, but the thing is that the creators of Avatar, which were on like in the crew for the production and everything, they left because they had some problems with
Oh really?
creative differences. They were told that they were going to be given creative freedom. They were not given creative freedom, and so they left. But Nickelodeon has created Avatar Studios, and so there will be more animated Avatar series coming soon. Like,
So the new movies are gonna be animated?
it's going to be a series. It's going to be a Netflix series. It's going to be a live action Netflix series.
But wait, I don't understand. There's
So
a movie
there's
coming
two.
out.
There's two. There's not a movie coming out.
No?
No, there's a series, a Netflix series.
I thought it was gonna be like a movie that you can go watch in like in the cinema or something.
No. So at least to my understanding, it's going to be two things. The Avatar world separated in two, and it's going to be the animated part, which is going to be led by the same creators, and it's going to be called Avatar Studios, and they have absolute creative freedom to do whatever they want. And then you have the live action adaptation of Avatar, which is going to be made by Netflix. It already has a cast, it already has a trailer, if I'm not mistaken, and the creators left because they felt that they had no creative freedom with a project, you know.
Fair enough.
That's at least what I know. And then, for example, Percy Jackson could be one of them too, or Harry Potter. Like the weird prophecy vibes around Harry Potter is also a kind of world where, you know, there is this attractive force. You could also point to Marvel. The Marvel universe has a way of it always, you know, there's 143 billion options, and then there's one and where we've been, and there's the law of attraction that takes us right there. That's what I'm talking about. So I think that there is this representation of the law of attraction in many places that we don't think that we have it, but we do.
Though we do. Okay, so let's start by defining what the law of attraction at least means to each one of us.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the law of attraction, from my understanding, is basically what you think is what you attract. If you have positive thoughts or you have optimistic thoughts, then positive things and successful achievements will come to your life. Well, if you have negative thoughts and you focus on the not so good aspects of your life, then the result of that is going to be negative things happening to you, or maybe feeling like you fail more often than what you actually would like to.
Okay, so I think the law of attraction, we have some internal energy.
Okay.
So there is what some would call the chakras. We have some internal reserves of energy. That's the thing that gives you the will to keep moving or decide to do something and just go through with it. I think that's clear. I think we all feel that to some extent. Even if you're not religious, you feel some intrinsic energy that is yours, okay? And so what I think the law of attraction is something like, if you live your life the way that you should be living it, then you attract the things that have the same energy as you. And it's a mutual relationship, so you attract energy attracts you, and your energy changes the energy outside, and the energy outside changes you. And so I think the law of attraction is the relationship between the energy that you're attracting and the energy that you have, and how that changes. I think that's an answer.
Wow. But then it's not either of their energies, it's more like the relationship between the energies.
Yeah, because, I mean, okay, if we define energy as everything that is around you, as that motivating force, then for sure, then what would anything, like, okay, we would get too philosophical. If the law of attraction means that you are always positive and you turn negative sometimes and you attract things, then nothing would work. It's look at it this way. Imagine energy is microbes, so that you have some tangible way of thinking about it. So imagine that energy is the COVID-19 virus.
Okay.
So that's why they used to call it bad airs when they got sick. It's because they believed that energy traveled in that way. Okay? So if you imagine energy like a microorganism, you don't just get angry or you don't just get mad. Like, it can come from you. You can have cancer, for example, which is a sickness that literally comes from you. But most of the time you catch a bacteria. So maybe you turn on the news and you see some flagrant misinformation, or you see a news report about grandmas getting, I don't know, stolen from at the grocery store, and it gets you really angry, and that's not you. It's something outside of you that's causing that anger.
Okay, I understand.
So sometimes, and then what happens, the reason why we talk about the law of attraction is that we create what we call a positive feedback loop. Positive feedback loop, it's a bit hard to explain, but something like an echo chamber. So if you repeat a signal many times in a vacuum, you'll start to hear, the echo. And if you repeat that sound enough, the echo intensifies and gets louder and louder and louder and louder. So if you're having a bad day and you lose your keys, then you miss the metro. And then after missing the metro, that you have to order an Uber, and the Uber takes 15 minutes, and then the Uber is an asshole. And then you get to class and the teacher closes the door in your face and doesn't understand your problem. And then when you're about to get home, I don't know.
Your fridge is broken.
Your fridge is broken. And that's bad. And there has to be some, how would you say this? You have to change the juju around you,
But the thing is, the question I have for you is, for example, today, the thing of the fridge has happened to me already, right? And I feel, from what I remember, last time it happened to me, of course it's shitty. One of the worst things that can happen to you, we were talking about it, is that your fridge stops working. Like, honestly, there's there's a chain of events that comes after, yeah. So it's like, okay, what do I do with my meat? What do I do with everything that I bought? It's like, I did groceries yesterday, so you understand.
Yeah,
o sea, como que el nivel de caos que va a ocasionar esto en mi casa, para que tengas una idea, o sea, lo voy a dar ahí, pero bueno, X. So it's like, if I'm having a day in which I feel like very tired, I know I come from a week that has asked a lot of me emotionally. I started working, I have uni, and that's something that Jose has been doing for a long time, but for me it's been a lot at the same time.
I'm a master.
And sometimes I'm just like so tired, and I don't really know why. So it's like today, I just felt tired since the moment I woke up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to yoga class, I'm gonna pay attention in class, I'm gonna do podcast thingy, and then I'm gonna rest tonight. And then tomorrow I have a biking event in the mountains. So it's like, I have a lot on my plate.
You have things on your plate.
I have a lot on my plate right now. So the fridge thing can be, let's suppose it's like neutral situation, right? If I'm in a good mood, it'll be like, well, it's fine, I'll just wait because what I have to do after like the breaks, because I have learned already, it's like I have to turn it off for 48 hours. So it defrosts and then it freezes again. That's what fixes the problem. Which means that every meat piece that I have in my fridge will probably defrost as well.
Or you can buy ice.
También, como que there's solutions to it, but the ice is gonna melt because the fridge is not cold. So I'm gonna have to buy it over and over again.
Yeah, but it's not undoable. I will give you a solution to your
Por
fridge
favor,
problem.
illustrate me.
You know those baggies that they give you if you have ever bought from Amazon Fresh or something? If you buy frozen stuff, they bring a gigantic bag for frozen stuff. And it's a good insulator. So if you put ice in there and you put your meat in there, it'll stay frozen for a good while.
Fair enough.
So I would do that. And if not, if any of that gets unfrozen, no, you don't look, because you take it out of your fridge, put it in the ice thing. Let's say it's 48 hours for it to unfrost, right? Well, let's say it takes 48 hours and the ice lasts for 36. If it unfrosts, you cook all of it.
We're gonna have a meal prep for the upcoming 2 weeks.
Yeah, but you cook all of it and then you make sauces and stuff. And like what I'm trying to say is it's an annoying ass problem, but it's a fixable problem. The thing is you can't see past it.
Exacto. Law of attraction. You attract the negative vibe, you see the fridge that smells like shit, and you're like, this is really the last thing I needed. If you're in a very good day, your fridge can be broken, and you're gonna react like that. You're gonna be like, okay, what can I do about it? I'm having a good day, so I have the energy to look past this problem. And maybe that's what it is about. You see, it's not about, I attracted the fact that my fridge is broken, which is what I told Jose when I arrived. I was like, there's a signal from the universe telling me, stop. You're being way too negative, you're being way too exaggerated about everything that's going on. Maybe it's not that. Maybe it's, okay, problem A appears, you either approach it as negative, bad type of day, or positive, very good type of day. You know? Maybe that's it.
Yeah, well, I understand, and I get it. I've had those days. The last time that happened to me, I had a weird solution for it. I had just been with my mom for a while, and she is a person that talks to me about a lot about law of attraction. The main thing about law of attraction, in its utility being positive attracts positive. So if you are being positive, if you can put yourself in a positive mindset, then good things come to you. And so I was with my brother, and we were gonna eat with my mom, my girlfriend's mom, and her grandmother.
Okay.
So it was a big party of people waiting for my brother and me, and we were running late, and we were about to get in the car, and as we were gonna get in the car doesn't turn on. And then we push the car outside to try to restart it, doesn't turn on. And then as we're pushing it outside, we scratch the car. And then we have to put it down somewhere else, and like, it's a problem. I order an Uber, the Uber takes 15 minutes. After the Uber takes 15 minutes, it takes us to the honest greens. It was the wrong honest greens.
It's a chain of unfortunate events.
Yes, it's a chain of unfortunate events. But the funny thing is, my brother and I were sitting there in the car, and I said, something else needs to go wrong. Like, something else is gonna go wrong. I know it.
There's
but
still
I'm with
not
you.
enough. There's still not enough.
No, but the funny thing is, I was with my brother, and what I kept telling him was like, well, I'm with you. I'm gonna laugh about it. What? I'm gonna be 10 more minutes wrong. Who cares? If I'm 10 more minutes wrong, like, then, you know, I'm 10 more minutes late and there's nothing I can do about it. But at least I'm gonna laugh at it. I mean, this is ridiculous. And then we did. And as soon as we did, the next Uber that we ordered took 2 minutes to get there. And we got to the place 5 minutes later, and there was food waiting for us already. And it was awesome. We had an awesome night.
The vibes.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's also about like recognizing when you're spiraling, because again, positive feedback loops and negative feedback loops are also true. So you've heard this, when you put two microphones together that are connected, you know, and then
you echo.
No, and you do like this,
And it sounds
and it sounds, you know, and it reverbs. That's a positive feedback loop. That's literally what it sounds like. And then a negative feedback loop is when you talk to the microphone, you can't hear it anymore.
Yeah, downward spiral. I'm studying that in micro-econ.
Oh my.
But I'm not going to get into details right now.
No.
That's one of my favorite subjects, to be honest.
Oh.
Today,
Why is that?
Today I was having like an epiphany during my IR class, because I was telling Jose that my international relations theory class, beautiful. I'm shocked. It's a bit boring, right? So I was thinking that now that I'm teaching, like, what if my path in life is very different than what I thought? What if teaching is what I'm meant to do, you know? And then I thought...
For context, Ariana is teaching at the same academy as I teach.
And I teach one class a week, and he teaches like 5 or 10.
Last year I did about 20 classes a week, which was crazy. This year I do a little bit less because I realized that it's too much. But yeah, so she's telling me this, and I'm like, yeah, I thought about that too.
And I'm doing one class, he's doing exactly like 10 times more than I do.
Yeah, I'm doing 10 classes. So.
A lot more than I do. And I was thinking, what if I've just been ignoring this part of my life? What if I'm meant to be a teacher? And I felt so mediocre, right? And then I felt so guilty about it, because I was like, am I undermining teacher's job? But that's not what I want. That's not the perception of success that I had before. So...
Well, you would never have attracted it.
Also, but the thing is, and I talked about it with my boyfriend too, it's like, I told him maybe at some point in my life I would like to be a teacher. But I never really imagined, or never as a teenager, young adult imagined that my professional path would be to be a teacher. And I felt a bit like disappointed by the possibility of it. I was like, what if that's it? You know?
Well, what does it mean to be a teacher? And I'm gonna go into this in a different perspective. So, law of attraction. If you get too negative things happen to you. If you get too positive things happen to you. If you're positive and a negative thing has happened to you, you have a choice whether or not to go negative or positive. And if you even if you go negative or positive without realizing it or reflexively, you can then choose to stop and turn it into positive or turn it into negative. Now, my question is, after, this is like the combos in Mortal Kombat, now, that if you press triangle and like square, you can do a sky kick in like, law of attraction terms. But what I'm gonna ask is, how do we use it and in which terms? So in your case, in career, how can law of attraction help and why?
The thing is, what if I don't know what I want to attract?
Well, you can ask the question to the universe if we're gonna get philosophical about it. So if you don't know what you want, the other day it happened to me. I had a weird experience in class, and I'm reading 2 books at the moment. I'm reading a book that my girlfriend got me called The Song of Achilles, which is really good. It's a book about Achilles falling in love with his best friend, and it's a really cool story, and it's really romantic, and it's really cool. And I'm loving it, but it's a light-hearted story in a sense. So it's a drama. And then I'm also reading The Laws of Human Nature, which is right there, which is it's a dense book, and it talks about different aspects of like human nature and how we as human beings act. And then I left a class. I got to class that day reading The Song of Achilles, and then after something happened to me at school that day, and then I got into a very sour mood. And I realized that I couldn't keep doing exactly what I was doing before. I couldn't read The Song of Achilles right now because I wouldn't enjoy it in the same way. Because I wasn't in the same mindset. And so I got The Laws of Human Nature. And in that exact paragraph where I had stopped reading was laid out the exact situation that I was going through. And it was perfect. And that's exactly what the law of attraction does. It doesn't give you stuff. It gives you the opportunity to see things in a different way. Maybe you're seeing it wrong. Maybe it's not like, oh, maybe I'm meant to be a teacher. It could be something like, maybe teaching is an aspect of me that I need to develop in order to find out what I really want to do.
Absolutely. And that, I just went into this, and that allowed me to think, or like to realize, for example, every time, I don't know if we talked about it, because I think I told you about it. Every what if thought, it's like, what if that's the only thing I'm meant to do, or what if this is what's going to happen? It's usually an intrusive thought.
Yeah, how do you take away, well, we talked about this, how do we deal with intrusive thoughts?
You picture your reality, and I don't really know if that's exactly what we talked about, but what I've learned is that if you have an intrusive thought, I tend to just get away from it and look at the facts that I have. Try to keep more of a neutral stance, not to go to the very negative spectrum or the very positive spectrum, and be more like, okay, what is more of a wholesome understanding of my situation, and also understand that I'm not going to know exactly what's going to happen.
What I do whenever I have an intrusive thought is first realize that it's intrusive.
También.
And then focus on the foreground. Let me put it this way. I'm sitting down and I'm looking at Instagram, and then I have this intrusive thought of, you could be more productive right now. And then I space out and I think, do I need to be more productive right now? And you rationalize your way out of it. So, do I need to be more productive right now? What is productive? Productive is the best thing for you to produce more. And then I zoom out a little bit more and I say, what have I been doing the entire day or the entire week? And it's been, oh, I've been working nonstop. Then you need a break. Oh, then I can be on Instagram. So it's more about zooming out, and it's something that I can do because I've trained myself to rationalize my way out of that, but it's not necessarily something that a lot of people can do. But it's about taking attention away from the thought itself and thinking about the contents of the thought.
Fair.
And so, okay, but again, what about the law of attraction? So if you're going to use the law of attraction, how can you figure out what you want with it?
Well, I think, okay, I have something that has worked for me up until now. There have been projects in my life that have made me feel a certain way.
Okay.
That have made me say, this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. I want to do something that provokes the same feeling that this project is provoking in me.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be the same thing, but it has to induce the same effect in me. And in a very particular case, usually it's associated with projects that, one, involve a team,
Okay.
It's usually not necessarily. It's not necessarily something of myself. I tend to find more satisfaction when I'm with other people that work aligned with my goals.
Okay, perfect.
Second, it's a project that involves a lot of people beyond my team. It's like my team allows me to organize
And reach more people.
Okay,
awesome.
And third is an event that stays in people. You know, we organize a very big group of people,
Okay.
and that in the end, after the event, which basically all of the effort was meant for the event to happen X way, you know, the X way, I don't have more responsibility on it anymore. But the people that were there are gonna feel like, okay, I'm gonna take X, and X is gonna be a part of my life.
Yeah.
And you know, maybe at some point in the future, I'm gonna do this other event or this other project in my life, and it's gonna have a bit of that X project that I did, which is gonna impact your life in the future. That's what I love to do. And it's very abstract, but at the same time, it's very specific.
So how does teaching fit into all of this?
And all the way of it.
How? When you're teaching, you're alone, essentially.
You're known, yes, that part of the idea of it is a bit cancelled. But one, you have more teachers on it. It's not the same thing, it doesn't create the same effect, to be honest. Like, I don't feel the same. But I think the part that can relate the most is the fact that people stay with what you do for them.
Okay, so I found that teaching is fulfilling for me because of that. So if I have a student who's older and English has been a struggle for them their entire life, feeling like they've progressed even a little bit is profound for them. It changes them and makes them feel so appreciative about you. And a lot of them end the class saying, thank you for your patience. Because a lot of people, and generally what happens when you're bad at something is that people aren't patient with you. They're just saying like, why can't you do this properly? So I understand. And then there's kids, and with kids it's super rewarding because when you have children, especially when they're small children, they are not only very good at it naturally, but they're also happy. There's all of my young students, when they come to class, the first thing I ask them is, how are you? And they always say, happy.
Really?
Always. Not one of my students, young students, have ever said that, and they have a good class.
And that's the law, you know, we go back to the law of attraction. And I think we talked about it in these episodes before, and I've said it, I know. The moment of my life where I recall being the happiest is when I was a kid. When I could just go and my mom told me you can get an ice cream today, that would simply make my day.
Yeah, but have you ever seen a 2-year-old have a tantrum?
Yeah.
There's nothing more negative than that. I think that maybe when you're younger, you're more in tune with your own energy, and so you're more raptured by it, you're more possessed by it. So if you're happy, it's the best day in the world. And if you're sad, it's literally the end.
Pero precisamente, como que I feel that's a very graphic understanding or a very graphic image of what the law of attraction does. If you're having a very good day, then the good things that happen to you are se exponencian. No sé cómo se dice eso en inglés, pero you know, the good things are impressively good, and if you're having a bad day, those small things or the not so good things are impressively negative in your day.
Yeah, well, okay, then let's treat the usefulness of the law of attraction as if we were babies. So you pointed out a couple of things. So working in groups, feeling fulfilled, and then changing other people's lives as the 3 things that are probably closest to making you feel like you are doing something that is truly the purpose of your life. Yes? So how can you keep yourself in that upward trajectory? So how can you use the law of attraction to keep finding things that are in that perspective? And are you? So is your life filled with things like that right now? Or is it filled with broken fridges?
Bueno, I'm going to start with an example.
Okay, go ahead.
This is something that generally fills me because of, o sea, cumple con todas las categorías que tenía antes.
Okay.
First, it's a team. Like, we're the team.
Yeah.
And there's people behind it that are part of the team, even if sometimes they don't really figure it out. You know, if sometimes they're gonna really tell. There's Jose's girlfriend, there's my girlfriend, there's Jose's dad. You know, there's people behind the project, even if sometimes they don't feel like it, right?
They're there.
They're there, and
At
they're
this exact and at this exact moment.
Sí, bueno, ahorita está la novia José, la hermana José, el papá José, todo al mismo tiempo. And we love.
Yes. They have just all walked in and we're about to have a big audience for the first time in a while.
Beautiful. Second of all, we have an event. It's every one of our episodes. Every one of our episodes is something that we plan. Every one of our stories is something that we plan. Every one of our Instagram posts is something that we plan. So that's our event.
Yes.
That's our X. And then after we release the episode, we just go like, there's nothing more we can do. You know?
Okay, and
Like people just take the episode and then we hope from the bottom of our heart that what we said and what we did is something that's gonna stay with them for a real long time.
What strikes me also, and this is going to be a tangent, it reminds me of World School Debate Championship, and it reminds me
Exacto, of MUN, es que de ahí viene. O sea, the first time I organized an MUN event, and me emocionaba tanto como que el tema de organizarlo, el tema de tener un equipo que estaba, and the key thing is having a team that is as invested and as excited as you are in the project. Otherwise it doesn't work. As long, like, it's very, very important that you are as excited as me for this project to work as, you know, the project itself.
I think you just broke me. Because that's exactly why I study what I study.
Go ahead.
That's exactly the reason why I study what I study. I study what I study. Sorry, I'm getting teared up. It's because I was in MUN and I was in World School Debate Championship, and those things created that same feeling that you're describing. It's like I want to do this for the rest of my life. And the thing is, and the first thing I thought when you said that you were rethinking whether or not when you were studying the right thing, was that the first reply in my head was, and what makes you think that international relations isn't exactly the career for that? It is. Like, okay, you could study event organizing, but you wouldn't have the perspective that we have.
You can study anything that you want, and in the end, if you want to do event organizing, you can do. But it's that. I think that what you do in college, it's not about the content that you learn in class. It's not about you understanding necessarily how structural realism works, or like offensive versus defensive realism. You know, we were talking about it before. It's the approach you take, the intake you take, the understanding you have of interpersonal relationships, of the relationship between nations. You can organize events, but the perspective you're gonna have, it's from a very thorough understanding of how interactions take place, and nobody's gonna take that away from you.
And that's why we're so interested in psychology. Like, we care genuinely about the experience being formative for somebody. That's why, and I encourage you, you know, camp. Camp is an experience that is so different from anything else, and it's only just because you do all of those things. So,
Exacto.
okay, so let's apply this. Wait, what else? What other things? We are in this energy right now. So what other things can we do in our life that have this 3 characteristics?
Sports.
Like what?
I am the officer of the hiking club. O sea, todos los senderismos de mi universidad, I organize. You have a
So
team.
cool.
You have a team. You have a team of people that want to go. You have an event. You know, you organize, you find the place, you have your guides, you have your people, you have your uni. Hay tantas como facetas involucradas en tu proyecto que you don't want to disappoint anyone. Y por eso you don't give up. Because it's not only you, it's them who are in the game, you know? And you can be tired, but they're excited for it. And that's your energy. That's where your energy comes from. Exactly. You have the event, which is the hike itself. It makes people happy. It makes people fulfilled. It makes people forget about their problems. And people take something away from the hike. I just give them that. And what they take is on them. But they usually take something. And that feeds me.
Okay, I have football. I'm a goalkeeper. And I think we missed something. And it's that it has to be challenging.
También.
If it's not challenging, if it gets boring, you find the next thing. So it has to be challenging enough. And my problem is that I have this thing in my head where I've always been bad at football. I'm not. I consciously know that I'm not. But when there is a game and the moment is there, and I have to go out and get the ball, I get so nervous that it gets really, really difficult, okay? And I have this nervousness where it's like, I'm gonna fuck up. And then I have this process of realizing that, oh, even if I do fuck up, it's not the end of the world. And having this team and like being in a team and having to work towards winning and getting to know each other and stopping as much as I can because I'm the goalkeeper, it's incredibly fulfilling.
Exactly.
So sports, definitely. And then there's, I'm gonna say playing the guitar.
Okay.
It's weird because it's not
a team.
It's not the kind of team exercise that you would think it is, but it is a team. It's an intrinsic team. Every single time you meet someone who knows the same instrument that you play, they pour their heart and soul out in trying to teach you. They do. They're like, oh, have you heard this song? Oh, do you know how to play this little, I don't know.
A chord.
Yeah, this chord, or have you figured out how to do bar chords yet and all that? And they're always there in that mood of trying to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that is weird because it's not intrinsically that, but it has it in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredibly challenging. And if you sing a song well enough, you are able to change the way that a person sees the world.
Exactly.
And that is incredible. Okay.
Yes. Bueno, in line with that, I think to conclude this idea is, even if I could consider myself to be a relatively introverted person, and you can relate, living alone has taught me that the meaning of life seems less vivid when I'm by myself. But when I share it with something, cuando comparto una memoria, cuando comparto un recuerdo, cuando comparto un momento, ese recuerdo, para mí en particular, it can be a different thing for everyone, has way more meaning and it's charged with way more energy than when I'm by myself. O sea, si yo comparto contigo el ir al retiro y abrazar un árbol, the fact that you have the same memory as I do makes the moment way more valuable because nobody else is going to understand, only the two of us. But I have someone to talk about it with. And of course there are going to be memories of my own that I'm going to love and I'm going to treasure. But I have, I'm sure that when I share them with somebody else, they're way more significant for me.
I think we can end with this. There's a series called The Good Place. I highly recommend it. It's very good. And it's about the afterlife, but it's also about this. It's about finding the things that make you feel whole. And then the series ends in a way that talks a lot about this, and it's how even if you cease to exist, there's a little bit of your energy that stays in the world. And I want to bring back something that I tell people when they're, especially I've told most of my friends whenever their grandparents die or whenever their parents, sadly some of my friends' parents have died. And it is this, it's, did they teach you something?
Mm-hmm.
Generally, your grandparent or your parent taught you a bunch of things, but one thing. For example, my grandmother and I, we watched a lot of football together, and she always taught me to, enjoy it as much as possible. Even if I'm losing, even if the game's bad, just have at it and have faith in it. And as long as I keep doing that, it'll never go away. She will never go away. Mm-hmm. And that idea, that thought might not even be from her. It might be from, 14, 50, 60 generations back.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the law of attraction.
Exactly.
It's an energy that it's there.
And it doesn't go away, it doesn't fade. It transforms, and it went from your grandma, and now it's a new.
And I think that to cover the beginning, if your fridge ever dies, if you have good enough energy, if you follow the deepest and clearest sides, then a broken fridge won't be a problem.
Exactly.
It'll be a funny story you can tell
on a podcast. It'll be a funny story. And if you have a team that, if you're not in your best energy, they're gonna bring the positive energy to you, you're going the right way. If you surround yourself with the people who have the energy that you're aiming to achieve, or that you should achieve when you're at your best, then you're in the right place. You need to attract whatever is it, and that's what you were saying before, that you would aim to achieve in your life. And that's people, that's energy, that's places, that's projects. And if you feel like you're not able to do it right now, then at least, or make sure that what's around you is somehow similar to wherever you want to go.
I think, to end, thank you for every single person who has ever done a project with me or anything with me, because that's what life is for, I think.
It's a share.
And remember,
nobody
gets away with anything.
See you next Monday.
See you next Monday. Remember to see us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever you get your podcasts from. Bye. That was awesome!
Hey, what about the memories that you share in a book? If you're a writer and you share a memory in a book and you feel it the same way that the other one does, even 100 years later.
Es verdad. Y una foto también, o una película.
Una pregunta.
Sí, lo que va a pagar.
¿Se para?
Mira,